From the Heartland Business and Event Center, nestled in vibrant downtown Jesup, Iowa, I'm Mark Levine. Wait a second, no.
Now you have to pay a royalty to him for using his name. So,
Sorry.
So you know what? We're always broke around here.
Wait a second. I'm Jim Gillespie, alongside producer Blake Tempus and Dale Rueber, and this is the Jesup News for April 26, 2026. Welcome. A sponsor who's been with us since the birth of the Steve Brown Art Center is Derek's Repair, located in Jesup, Iowa. Contact Derek Marty for your car repair needs. Also, check out the podcast, What's Up with our friend Bubba Seaman. On the podcast, they talk about everything with everyone. Nothing is off the table, discussing real life with real people. The good and the bad, the highs and lows, and everything funny in between. It's interesting yet entertaining podcast with real people talking about what is up. What's up, Dale?
Well, I think we should have like, what is down, see? And then we could talk about the stock market or something. I don't know. But no, I think it's very nice that he knows what is up.
He's a good man, Bubba. I had breakfast with him and Sarah last Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like the steak sandwich or anything like that? Or
no, I had pancakes. I fell off my diet.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually you don't eat pancakes. Well, this is 2 weeks in a row you've eaten pancakes now.
So what's the news? What's the good news, Dale? Give me some good news.
Oh, the good news? Oh, well, I was going to start with the greatest stories never told. I have another one of these that you have never heard before, I'm sure. But
they're like Paul Harvey things, aren't they?
They are kind of, yeah. Okay. This is the real Uncle Sam. We're doing things on American history in honor of our 250th birthday, so we'll quit this about July 4th or so. But
the real Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, okay. During the War of 1812, you remember that, Sam Wilson had a contract to supply meat to U.S. troops, salted beef and pork ready to ship out in barrels. To identify the barrels, Wilson assigned a worker to letter them with the initials U.S. for United States. That abbreviation wasn't as common as it is today, and when people asked the man doing the lettering what it meant, he joked that it really stood for Uncle Sam, the kindly meat packer's nickname. The joke got around with amazing speed. Within months, the phrase began to appear in political cartoons and newspaper editorials. People started referring to all government property as belonging to Uncle Sam. Soldiers started calling themselves Uncle Sam's boys. In no time at all, the meat packer's nickname became the country's nickname. Here's the interesting part. Okay. In early drawings, Uncle Sam appeared clean-shaven, dressed in black. Later, he wore the colors of the flag. In the Civil War, cartoonist Thomas Nast drew him gaunt and bearded like Abe Lincoln. The most famous Uncle Sam is actually a self-portrait of artist James Montgomery Flagg. You might remember those, those recruiting posters, Uncle Sam, I want you, pointing his finger.
Yep.
And as official artist for New York State artist James Montgomery Flagg created more than 45 recruiting posters during World War I. None was more famous than the one he modeled on himself. The poster was so effective it was recycled for use in World War II, and the poster he modeled on himself was Uncle Sam. So Uncle Sam looked like him. So that's, he modeled it on himself.
Cool.
Uncle Sam, you heard of Johnny Appleseed.
Yep.
Sure. Okay, Uncle Sam and Johnny Appleseed were kin. Sam Wilson married a woman named Betsy Mann. She was a cousin of none other than John Chapman, better known as Johnny Appleseed. It's even possible that the two American icons played together as boys. So
interesting.
Now you wouldn't know that anywhere else. Unless you had this book. Okay.
This is Steve Brown Art Center Podcast Network. And I'm here with Uncle Sam.
Sam. Yes.
Dale Rueber and Blake Tempus. How wonderful the weather, Dale.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Last couple of days, very, very nice.
Yeah.
And my little dehumidifier in the basement just humming right along.
So you've got one dehumidifier in your house.
Right.
And you got it in your basement.
Yeah. That's where I need it because you don't want mold and that kind of stuff to build up with too much moisture in your basement. And in the wintertime, the furnace keeps everything dry. But once the spring comes, you turn the furnace off and the heat and humidity start. Why, you need one of those. And I don't know how you can live without one in Iowa. Everybody, I guess I know that has a basement has one. Yeah, and a lot of people that have no basement, but they still have a dehumidifier running in certain parts of their house just to keep the moisture.
Now, do you have a humidifier in the wintertime?
It's in the furnace, yeah. It's part of the furnace, yeah. So it keeps, and it's right on the thermostat, it tells you what the humidity is in the house, so you can monitor it. And so these new furnaces, this is from 2019, and it's Lennox. And the Lennox factory in Marshalltown was hit by a tornado in 2019. And so I needed a new furnace, but I had to wait until they got the factory rebuilt and the lines going to build a new furnace. So they put it in January of 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the other one was still working. And the guy called me. He said, yours is still working. We have people, their furnace is not working. So we're putting you down the list. I said, that is absolutely fine. So we had no problem with that. And the furnace I got, top of the line, of course, was one of the last ones they started building again at the Lennox manufacturing. So, but anyway, it heats the house so well. It never been better. It has a humidifier, a part of it, and everything. And thermostat tells you everything you want to know. You can check it on your phone. You can check it on the internet. On your computer. It's just amazing what all that can do.
Yeah,
I, of course, don't know how to do any of that stuff, but I know a couple buttons to push to keep everything going, and that's as far. I did call one time though because the thermostat wasn't reading right, and I called the company that put it in for me, Robbie Hardware. He has a thermostat right there that he can look at. And I was telling him what I was seeing, and he was doing this and that. Couldn't figure it out. And then finally he asked somebody else, and they said, is there a little button on the back left-hand corner or something? And I looked around and said, well, yeah, right. Well, push that. And that was the reset button, and then everything worked. But they had never had that problem before, I guess, so they didn't know there was a reset button there either. So now I know that. It probably never will happen again, But that happened to me several times in my journey as a homeowner, making silly mistakes that end up costing me money because I don't know what to do. And then now that I know what to do, it never comes up again, see? So I don't know. Owning a house is a lot of work and a lot of heartache.
You can't win.
No, you can't. So,
So what else you have for us, Dale?
I told you I have potpourri today. So, okay. The event center, Heartland Technology, this coming week, the only thing going is Sonny's Place Food Truck, which is 11 to 2. And I don't know that I've ever ran into that one before. And they were going to if you were going to come to Sound Healing, that's been canceled. That was Wednesday the 29th at 6 o'clock, but that has been canceled, Kelly tells me. So, and then next week we'll talk about programs in May. Do you believe that?
It's summer's about here.
Yeah. The library movie today, be Monday, is The Best of Enemies. We talked about that last week with, now I can't think of her name. I had before. But that's the movie at the library. Free popcorn, free admission. School, there's some golf and track going on yet. Baseball will be starting pretty soon, but girls golf on the 27th of April, Union and Gladbrook Rhinebeck, and the 1st of May at Appleton Parkersburg. And the boys golf is the 27th at Union and 5-1 Appleton Parkersburg. So that's what's going on with the golf track. And I haven't heard yet how they did with the Great Drake Relays, but on the 27th, they Center Point, Urbana. That's where they're going. And on the 28th, they're at Dyke, New Hartford. This is the girls track. And then 1st of May is at North Butler. So they're all away coming up here. And boys track is the 27th. They're at Maquoketa Valley. 1st of May at Starmont, and the 4th of May at Independence. So they're getting close to the end of their season. Coming up. City news, cleanup day is Saturday, May 9th from 8 to noon. If you're a current resident of Jesup, you can take advantage of this. There's posters around, or you can call City Hall and ask about it. But hazardous materials they don't take, and like paint and tires, they don't take gas, diesel fuel, shingles, nothing like that. No perishable goods, they don't take any of that. But other things, and some things have a fee, more like appliances, stoves, dryers, freezers, refrigerators, trash compactors, dehumidifiers, heat pumps, dishwashers, furnaces, hot water heaters, air conditioners, microwave ovens, humidifiers, batteries, and garbage disposals. They'll cost you $12 because there's a fee, I guess, at the landfill for those when they take them. So that is coming up. I went to I guess the city's also had a thing going that I didn't see, but it's all over. But there's going to be painting the water tower.
Oh, really?
This spring, yeah. And I guess they're going to be orange and blue with the Jayhawk on it. And the word Jesup, of course. Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm not sure when that's going to get done. And then RAGBRAI, one of the things, RAGBRAI is coming July 23rd through Jesup, and they're routing it, is coming in from the south on Worcester Road, which is, I don't know, I would call it Jesup Road. And then they'll be routed up 6th Street to Young Street, and then Young Street down to Main Street by the post office there, then back south again to South Street, so that the riders have a chance to come through the downtown and see what we have. And we're going to have 600 American flags lining the streets that day. And so that'll be something for them to see. That's a lot of flags. We're going to put them up Farmers Day from 6th Street all the way out to the cemetery for Memorial Day.
All 600.
Not all 600, no. That's just however many that takes. It's a few hundred. I don't remember the exact number we did before, but not all of them. No.
What day are you putting those up, Dale?
I'm not sure. Probably Friday before Memorial Day.
Okay.
And we need, I don't know, again, I shouldn't ask for volunteers because I don't know. But what they do is they just drill a hole in the ground. And you got to be able to. They try to have young scouts and stuff help out with that, but they don't get it down. They don't get it in far enough, and then they blow over. So you really need somebody with a little oomph. That'd be like you to put those in. So, and the thing is, you walk from 6th Street out to the cemetery, then you walk back in. See, so there's a little walking involved with it. But they're going to try to get a different kind of drill that maybe would go a little fast. They were using handheld battery-operated drills with a big cement bit in it, but they burn the darn things out. It's drilling down through that crushed rock is like drilling through concrete a lot of times. It's really tough when that gets packed. So that's coming up. Remember, Ragbri is July 9, 10, 11. And remember Memorial Day.
Hold on. Ragbri.
I'm sorry, Farmers Day.
Farmers Day.
Yeah, okay. Ragbri is July 23rd. Farmers Day is July 9, 10, 11. And Memorial Day is May the 25th, and at 10 o'clock, 10:15, they always have a service out at the Catholic Cemetery, then over to the Memorial Guard, the other cemetery.
Do you have my lines yet?
I do, yes. I know what I want you to do.
Okay.
So we're going to have a little bit longer program. I talked to Fritz Keys if we could have a little longer program. And you see, they don't have to be at Littleton until 11 o'clock. So we thought we could have, maybe 5 more minutes or whatever without any problem. And so we're trying to get that together. And
I always try to remind the speakers that the veterans have guns.
Yeah. They have rifles.
Yes.
No,
not rifles.
They have rifles, yes. Be careful. Okay, that's kind of the news. Some interesting things I have seen or heard this last week. I always worry because, we built the interstate highway system.
Yeah.
We built the transcontinental railroad, but I think China, we have to worry. Chinese factories are putting out electric cars in record numbers.
And at a cheaper price, too.
Yeah. Well, I found this very interesting. There's a company that put up 1,000 charging stations just for their cars. And you pull up to this charging station, and the computer tells you, take your foot off the brake, take your hands off the wheel. And it backs it or drives it into this little kiosk thing, little tent thing.
This is in China. And so it parks in there, the floor opens up, robot or something comes up and takes the battery out, puts a new battery in, tightens it all down, checks everything. How long do you think that takes? I would say 10 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes and 1 second.
Wow.
Which is less time than it would take to put gas in a car.
Yeah.
So in 3 minutes, you've got a brand new battery and off you go. So instead of charging batteries, they just switch batteries.
Wow.
And they've got 1,000 of these places, on the highways in the country. And so I thought, well, that's really a fantastic idea.
Amazing.
And you'd have a lot of money, I suppose, in those 1,000, but it would certainly help with the selling of your car, I would think.
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
Okay. There's new business record. Have you heard about this? You don't know because I haven't said it yet. An American corporation has reported that they created no toxic waste in the past year. They were able to incorporate all of their toxic waste into their product.
Okay.
No, that's just a joke.
Oh.
I made that up. So.
Oh.
But that was in the funny papers. I thought, I got you. Okay.
Okay. I was going to say, that's incredible.
Yeah, isn't it though? Wow. Sales receipts at service stations. They went up 1.3% in February. In March, they went up 15.5% with the gas prices going way up. So these are service stations. That's the largest gain since the government started tracking this kind of data in 1992. So,
15% is incredible.
Yeah. So that's the amount of money being spent at service stations. It doesn't say gas just being spent, but it's mostly, I'm sure, the gas thing doesn't help. Okay. The Pentagon has ended mandatory flu shots for service members. I don't remember. When I was in the service, I got lots of shots.
Yeah.
Nobody ever asked me if I wanted a shot or not.
Right.
You just went and they gave them to you, and they had your card, and they would look at your card. I know in Vietnam, you had to go through the health center, sick bay we called it, to get paid. And they would look at your shot record before they paid you. And if you had shots coming, they wouldn't pay you unless you stood there and got your shots. So that's how they did it, which was kind of nice. And one time the colonel was there and he had 3 shots coming and he wasn't very happy, but he stood there and took them, because it's very hard for these little E2, E3 corpsmen to tell the colonel that he needs shots, but they did their job. So, but anyway, I was thinking the worst thing happening to Washington's army as they got started in the Revolutionary War was smallpox. They lost more members to smallpox than to anything else until Washington finally decreed everybody is going to get vaccinated against smallpox. And in those days, they just had to scratch their arm and rub some of the smallpox in there. They didn't have, needles or anything. But he had his whole army vaccinated, whether they wanted to or not, against smallpox, because otherwise we would not have a country today if he hadn't done that. And so I don't know what their problem is with inoculations or this sort of thing, but it's just part of their whole culture.
Oh, the agency in Georgia, is that the WHO?
No, CDC.
The CDC.
Yeah.
They just hired a doctor that believes in vaccination.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
So
they say, we were talking about this, and I know you're going to talk about this later, but they say Bobby Kennedy isn't long for the Washington world right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because I heard a thing where they told him to shut up. He wasn't supposed to talk that much anymore. So that's just the first step. Yeah. I'll do one more thing, and then if we have time, I'll do a couple things later on. Okay. Great Britain, we talked about raising cigarette taxes, which the legislature won't do and everything. Well, Great Britain has a new law that bans the sale of tobacco to anyone born on or after January 1st, 2009. So their whole life, these people will not be able to buy tobacco. They are banned for life from buying tobacco. It creates a lifetime ban. Kids will never reach the legal age to buy tobacco. And the aim is to reduce smoking rates among 14 to 30-year-olds to near zero by 2050. So they're not outlawing smoking, but they're outlawing the selling of tobacco to people of a certain age.
Interesting.
So they say it will significantly reduce health issues like cancer and stroke, saving tens of thousands of lives. And also they have a national health system over there. It will save, they don't do dollars, but millions of dollars, I'm sure. Prevention is better than cure is how they're doing this. And so this just came out today. All that's left is the king has to sign off on it, which is just a formality in their government.
Right.
And so that will be the law. So after that, I can't remember the starting date, but if you're born on or after January 1st, 2009, you may not buy tobacco in your lifetime.
Ever again.
Yeah.
Legally,
yeah. And again, people take, teenagers and all this sort of thing get tobacco. They buy cigarettes. People buy it for them. But I think it's £100 fine for each incident if you buy tobacco for someone underage or sell tobacco for someone underage. So that's pretty hefty.
It is.
So I think maybe it'll work. So, but they are just tired of messing with all the money and illnesses caused by tobacco and all the money spent on treatment of the diseases that tobacco costs. And so I don't think you could do that in this country. I don't think you can make a law like that. People would not. People don't like being told that sort of thing. But in England, apparently, it passed through Parliament, and so that's what they're going to do. So
with social medicine like that, it almost bounds them. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. We'll be right back. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. It's time for Mason's Top 5 of all time, sponsored by Mickey's Pizza and Lobster.
What's the category?
The Farrells are kind sponsors of this podcast. Got to say this with emotion. They're sponsors.
I'm sorry.
Include them in your wedding, graduation, or festival plans. Don't wait. Their schedule's filling up for 2026. Thanks to the Farrells for sponsoring us. Now, I just always wonder what the category is going to be. Something I know something about. The top 5 things about poetry poetry night. What a fun
poetry
night.
It was
my
fun. I
gosh.
enjoyed that very much. And some people, some people brought poems to read.
Yeah.
And some people read poems that they had written, and a lot of them very personal kinds of things. You really learned a lot about them, and that's what poetry does to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you start writing pretty much, you're just spilling your guts out. So it was very interesting, and I enjoyed it. Deb did too, very much.
And it was a great venue. Can't thank Gedney's enough for hosting.
Yeah, they're very
hosting
nice.
us. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I noticed you helped move the furniture back when everything was done. That was very nice of you.
So, I needed to hurt my back a little bit, so
so you can get out of the draft, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my back.
That's right. But it's time for Mason's Top 5.
Okay.
This is the top 5 things about having a poetry night.
Okay.
We'll go. This is off the list. There's not enough of. We don't have them often enough. There needs to be more of them, I think.
Need to give people a few more minutes,
I know it. And we could have done that. I worried we were going to have, we had, a dozen people.
Yeah.
And it was my intention to have about 18.
Sure.
So we had about a half hour left.
Yeah. No, the first time all you can do is make the best guess you can and see what happens. And next time, maybe you might get 20 people, you might get 5. You just don't know. And so.
Yeah.
Remember, Jim, all you can do is the best you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're doing that.
Number 6, it oversimplifies.
I thought this was the top 5.
Excuse me.
Oh.
It is the top 5.
Okay. Well, number 6 must be really bad.
Number 6.
Number 5 was what?
Number 5. We haven't got to number 5. This is number 5. This is number 5. Good things about poetry. The afterglow.
Oh, okay.
The afterglow.
Yeah.
When the reading ends, the conversations begin.
Sure.
Several great conversations. On the text string you and I are on. Great comments.
Sure.
Little clusters of people standing around talking.
One guy even talked to his wife a while. I saw that. So.
Number 4, the wild mix of voices. We had one about a breakup. We had one about the battle of one's life. We had a guy talk about his life after the military. Mm-hmm. We had.
That was all fiction. I hope you realize.
Was that fiction?
Well, of course it was.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not going to say anything, but
okay.
Yes.
And we had a guy read a poem about a dance in how the man viewed the dance, and then how the woman viewed the dance, and if each one remembered. Mm-hmm. And then another lady read a poem about eggshells. Just a real short poem about eggshells. Okay. You get a wild mix of voices.
And when you said voice, I thought, we had a fairly young girl that read some, and then we had older people, middle-aged, and some of you call very senior citizens, some of you call just retired people, and others were people that still working and this sort of thing. And so, it was a lot of different people coming at things, and the things they're interested in, that they would write about, or that they would find a poem that related to something. It was very.
It was.
I try to find things that give me a chuckle. I remember something that makes me laugh. And that's.
And Dale, you amaze me. You could remember. You remembered 3 poems off the top of your head. That's remarkable. I'm really
well. There's not much else going on up there. See, so there's plenty of room.
I'm lucky to remember my name most days, Dale. Number 3, the coffee house hush.
Oh.
All you could hear were the speakers. You can hear the coffee being made. People were quiet. They were respectful. No phones were ringing. Mm-hmm. Nobody had their phones out except to take pictures. Yeah. It was wonderful.
Yeah, very nice.
Number 2, the courage in the air is contagious. Some people were real nervous, and to those people's credit, they got up and did it anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people you could tell were confident. It's hard to get up and read your own stuff. And that one lady read her own, 2 of her own stuff. Katie had me read her poem.
You did a fantastic job of that, because that was a very sentimental, I won't say tearjerker, but a very emotional kind of poem. And you did that. You did really well with it. I would not have been able to do it.
it was tough, and Katie is such a great supporter of the Steve Brown Arts Center, and been such a supporter of me since I've been in Jesup. I can't thank her enough for giving me that privilege. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Number two. Number two, the courage in the air, and number one, the room becomes a temporary village. It is. Everyone is there for everyone else.
Yeah.
There's no hierarchy, no gatekeeper,
Right.
no.
Yeah, because you set it's always hard to get that first guy up there. And you just did, okay, who's born in January? Who's the first in January? You're up. And there was no way of getting out of that. And then it got started. And so it wasn't this, okay, who wants to go first kind of thing. You did that. That was a nice way of getting it started. So
Thank you. So those are the 5 greatest things about Poetry Nights. And it looks like we're going to attempt one in October. That is our intention. Don't hold us to it. Pete and I at Gedney's talked about that. I talked about that with M's as well. One of those places will host us. They're so kind.
Yeah, well, and you hope that it's good for them. That it's worthwhile for them to be open. Because that's extra hours for Gedney's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not usually open at that time, and so I always hope that it's a worthwhile thing for them to do.
Right. So Dale, so this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. So Dale, as much as I loved education, the thing that drove me batty about it is the bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. The government thing, the bureaucracy. I was reading about FIBA is hosting, or the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are hosting the world, or what do they call, what is FIBA call, or not FIFA calls the World Championships this summer.
Oh, okay.
And
European football.
European football, soccer. Yeah. FIFA is going to make $11 billion off of it. And there's one train up in New York that charges $13 for a route from one town to another. Mm-hmm. They are raising their prices to $150 one way to another. I believe, and I may have this wrong, one of the countries, I believe Italy, has been disqualified, and they were the last country in. And so the next country in is Iran. And Iran doesn't want to play for obvious reasons. They don't want to play in America, in the United States.
Yeah.
And so they have petitioned to play all their games in Mexico.
So if they got to the championship game would be in Mexico. If that would work out, that wouldn't go over very well, probably.
No. Now there's just so much bureaucracy to FIFA. There's bureaucracy to everything. That I'm going to attack it. The cow that's given us the milk this summer, literally the cow that's given us the milk. I believe the symbol is a cow. Ragbri coming through Jesup.
Yeah.
And Ragbri makes each organization pay to sell things. Mm-hmm. If you want to run a supper, you gotta give.
Well, is that the people with the trash? I don't know that the local people have to. The local people have to pay something to the city. I don't know if they pay anything to Ragbri or not.
See, the city has to come up with X amount of money to pay to Ragbri.
No, Ragbri pays the city.
Yeah.
I don't mean to argue with you on it.
No, you're right.
But Ragbri gave the city a check for $5,000 to help pay for cleanup, porta potties, and this sort of thing. Okay, we have, I think Michael said we have 40-some porta potties ordered.
Yeah.
We just need them. Basically, you'll need them for like 4 hours.
And I was at the Independence meeting. They gave Independence $150,000.
150, for overnighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is.
Yeah.
But then Independence, and you're right, the city turns around and charges the vendors.
And just like Farmers Day charges vendors too, because that's how we pay for advertising and programming and this sort of thing. We have to get money And so we charge 15%, which is, as I understand, low compared to what other places charge. But that and the beer tent pretty much pay for Farmers Day every year.
Yeah.
And donations that we get from some of the larger businesses in town. So.
See, I'll show you behind the curtain thing right now.
Okay.
The Steve Brown Art Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that I used to read the spiel on
Sure.
every week. I don't read it anymore. We're a nonprofit. We are having a plein air painting in Independence and charging nothing to the painters.
Mm-hmm.
Independence wants $100.
Oh, for us to do this.
For us to do that.
Ah, okay.
Finally, I said, I convinced them that we are a nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
and I said that we would donate $100 for an outhouse for the day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they declared that they would pay for the entry of each of the plein air people. So, we're going to give $100. They're going to give us $100 back.
Yeah.
It's bureaucracy.
Sure.
That shouldn't need to be done.
Yeah.
That's what drives me away from a lot of things, Dale.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
Here's why bureaucracy is bad. It's because it's inefficient. One, that's inefficient. Dale. People are wasting their time.
Yeah.
First, the painters are going to come in. They could set up their easel anywhere they want and paint and say we have nothing to do with the Steve Brown Art Center. But it's inefficient. Two, goals are displaced. Even if the rules or hierarchy are set up to further the goals of the organization, over time the aims become less important. So if I aim to do this, we aim to have a painting thing. Well, we got to pay for that outhouse. It's silly. And I understand. Well, I was this close to not, and I sound like the whiners on Saturday Night Live. But, I was this close to canceling the paint.
Yeah.
It's silly, but goals are displaced. Yeah. Three, it stifles people being innovative. People can't be innovative when there are rules, Dale.
Yeah, that's true. If you're confined by the rules.
One of the greatest coaches I've ever been around, Mike Sinner.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first years that he was kind enough to let me be his assistant cross country. I said, Syndrome, you got a rule book? He said, you have rules, you got to follow. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
You have rules, you got to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong.
So he did not have a rule book, you're saying?
He didn't have a rule book.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, he didn't, I mean, the school had plenty of rules.
Yeah.
You followed the school rules.
Yeah.
But he didn't have rules.
Yeah. I just off track, but he had fun.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my kid coming up and saying, well, they're fishing at the pond by the Greyhound Park or something for cross-country practice. Okay.
Yeah.
And they would have to find the coach or something. He would run and hide someplace. They had to run around the town looking for him and chase him down and this sort of thing. And the kids loved. Even, he worked with kids, kindergarten, as a physical education teacher, and the kids loved it. He was just a lot of fun.
It fosters blind spots. When you have rules, employees follow those rules. Well, this is a rule.
Yeah.
And this is all I got to do. This is a rule. Mm-hmm. This is what you told me.
Yeah.
People don't expand. And dehumanize the dehumidifier. I got that on my mind.
You're down in my basement again.
There you go. It sparks impersonality. There's nothing. When you have a bureaucracy, there's nothing personal about it. Here's a rule. Some bureaucrat pulls out a book, puts it on, opens the book.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
Yeah. And they have to keep busy too. That's why they keep changing things. They have to justify their position. And so every now and then it's, they upset the basket and move everything around, not for any better good, but just, they have to keep busy.
They do. And perhaps, I understand probably you need some bureaucracy. I'm a little bit of an anarchist, Dale. You don't always have to do things the same way.
Yeah.
Change isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
So this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. We want to thank the NRG Media and the Brightside Initiative for nonprofits for allowing us to do 20 on air and 20 on stream ads this coming summer. When that's on the air, I will remind the audience to listen to that. We'll see if Blake can't copy some of that off the air and pirate that.
We'll hold it captive or hostage.
There you go.
Okay.
But that is from the Community Relations Coordinator at KFMW, KOKZ, KXEL, and Hank FM.
And you think about it, that's kind of a nice thing. I mean, that's their product that they have is for them to donate that to different organizations. I'm sure most of it's probably nonprofit kind of thing like us, but it's a neat way of giving.
It is. And I am not into writing grants. I'm not very good at it. It took me 15 minutes. It was fast. And the value of it is about $2,500. That's a great value.
Yeah.
The Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. We'll be right back. This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. We have a couple of things to talk about. Dale's got a couple of more things in his potpourri of things.
Useless. Okay. And both these things were in the Des Moines Register today. What's today? 22nd?
22nd,
yeah.
Yes.
And one's about, people say I mess too much talking about the past and history and this sort of thing. So this is the future we're talking about.
Okay.
There's a phenomenon called El Nino. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of that.
Okay,
when
sure.
the water's hot down in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. El Nino is when it gets warm. And what's the other one? La Nina is when it gets too cold, I guess. When it's cold. Okay. Scientists are projecting that 2026 cycle could become the most powerful El Nino event in recorded history. Strong El Nino events like these are unofficially dubbed super or Jurassic El Ninos. Okay. And these are global atmospheric pattern. And this is not saying this is what's really going to happen, but this is what climatologists are looking at and saying this is what we're predicting is going to happen, okay?
Okay.
El Nino is a natural climate pattern in which surface seawater temperatures in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean are warmer than average. And then La Nina is the opposite. That's when it gets colder, okay? Forecasters stress it's not certain that a super El Nino will form, but multiple long-range models are now trending warmer, with some pushing into territory rarely seen in modern records, a signal that has caught scientists' attention. El Nino, a natural warming of Pacific Ocean water that affects weather around the world, often leads to some of the hottest years on record, such as the record-breaking world average temperature in 2024. The prospect of a strong El Nino has rattled forecasters who fear an unprecedented wave of global heat into 2027. A stronger El Nino brings more intense warming of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, which can significantly alter the jet stream. This shift affects weather systems far beyond the tropics, increasing the likelihood of widespread impacts across multiple continents. Scientists also have higher confidence in predicting the potential consequences when an event reaches this strength, so the numbers are high. If this system continues to gain strength through summer and fall, it could rival or even surpass some of the most powerful events in modern records, including the 97-98 and 2015-16 El Ninos. These events produce notable global effects from extreme rainfall and flooding in some regions to droughts and heat waves in other. Here's the good news.
Okay.
All right. Iowa typically experiences cooler temperatures in July, August, and September when El Nino is in effect, according to 30-year climatologist Gillespie wrote in an email. When looking at the average of past super events, much of the state tends to see somewhat wetter to near normal conditions in summer. This could have implications on reducing drought or staving off drought emergence, especially in the presence of cooler temperatures, which have generally been the theme in the past three super events. So what they're saying is, could be worldwide really bad, but in Iowa, typically, when we have this kind of situation, we have nicer weather, a little cooler, a little wetter, more normalized, which will be good for our state. So I told Blake to write all this down, and then we'll check in 2 years to see if these predictions are true, okay?
Okay. He's getting it in his phone right now. He's got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's got a girl. Oh, anyway. Okay. And one more thing I was very interested in today is the Labor Secretary, Chavez de Remer, is the third person to leave Trump's cabinet. She's the Secretary of Labor.
Yes.
And 3 women have left the cabinet so
Who are
far.
the other 2?
It's right in here.
One was the Attorney General, I believe.
Yeah.
And the other, Bondi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Was Homeland Security.
Homeland Security, yeah.
She's the one that spent all the money on that.
Yeah.
Her riding a horse or having a bed in the airplane that she had an affair with one of her staffers with. Okay. Well, it's the affairs thing that's really doing these people in. So. I thought this was interesting. The New York Post reported in January that Chavez de Remer was under investigation for pursuing an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate, unnecessary travel on the taxpayer's dime, and drinking on the job. Okay, so all of them are inappropriately involved with subordinates. Okay. In April, the New York Times reported that Chavez de Remer had 3 civil rights complaints filed against her by 3 women who work inside her office. Among the allegations were that the secretary made staff members run errands for her. 3 members of Chavez de Remer's staff and a member of her security detail, whom she was accused of having an affair with, were forced out of their jobs over the allegations, the newspaper reported. Here's the part that I like. The paper also reported that a Labor Department investigation into Chavez de Remer's leadership included text messages that her husband and her father allegedly sent to young female members of her staff. So it's not just her, it's her whole family's involved. Her husband, Sean de Remer, was also accused of sexual harassment. He was reportedly barred from the Labor Department's headquarters after making unwanted sexual advances toward its employees. So there are, this is the third one of these where the cabinet secretary has been accused of inappropriate advances to staff members, etc. But this is the first time I'm aware of where their husband and their father were also involved with the whole thing. And so it just makes for a whole, nice little family reunion kind of thing. So I found that very interesting. So be interesting. We talked earlier about when inoculations and everything that Bobby Kennedy reportedly has been told to keep on the quiet side. And so that's usually a sign that maybe he's on his way out. And I know in his first term, he had almost a complete turnover, didn't he, in cabinet positions
I think so.
over the 4 years. And these people have lasted longer than anybody thought they would because he's usually has quite a turnover. And so I don't know, but I just found that very interesting. So
there's a $10 million $250 million lawsuit.
Yeah.
The head of the FBI right now.
Yeah. Chase, is I think Chase or I know, yeah, guy with the beady eyes.
Yeah. Yes.
Looks like somebody just stuck a cattle prod up his. Yeah. Okay.
And this is there's a lawsuit, so we're protecting ourselves here to prevent that lawsuit. But he has been accused of drinking so hard that he's passed out in his office and they had to have a battering ram to get into his office.
He missed meetings, and they had to get special permission to have a battery. So when they can't wake him up in the morning, they can break his door open.
Yeah.
They have a battering ram. He's denying all this, of course. We should say that. But it doesn't look too good for him right now, I would say. So, and you just wonder, kind of like Pete Hegg says, that was one of his problems being confirmed was the fact he had a history of drinking. Yeah. And they had a lot of pictures and tape of him, doing that sort of thing. And they had this FBI guy, he was celebrating with the
U.S. Olympic team.
Yeah, the Olympic team. And he was looking pretty lit up at that time. And so, and it gets me because, Trump is a non-drinker. He does not drink at all. And so, but he seems to have a lot of trouble hiring people that have trouble with alcohol.
And that's funny because Trump's brother was an alcoholic, and Trump didn't care for his brother.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times if you have alcoholics in your family, it turns you off. My mother had my uncles, her brothers, that I believe they weren't officially alcoholic, but they drank an awful lot. And she did not allow any alcohol in our home. I never grew up with people having a cocktail or a beer or anything. It just never happened. And so, and therefore, I and my 3 brothers, none of us really drank very much. I think a lot of it's how you're raised,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just amazing to me how these people know they're in a public position, that they're being watched all the time. and people are checking everything they can check about them, looking for a story like this, and yet they give them all the ammunition they need to get them fired, and so to make them look bad. And so I don't know if it's just flaunting your power or what it is, but the press is out there and they're watching.
So, okay, let's do yes or no. One month from today, are we still at war with Iran?
I think so. I think it'll still be in some form going on because the powers that be are in it up to their neck, and both sides are very stiff-necked, and nobody wants to look like they are the one that chickened out or gave in. And so I don't know how they're going to end it without either side be willing to say, okay, I've had enough. Let's not do this anymore.
Just as we were going on air, Iran, there were 8 women arrested for protesting in Iran shortly before the war started, and Iran released 4 of them and kept the other 4 in jail for another month.
Yeah.
So President Trump saw this as a victory, and he thanked the Iranian government.
Well, what gave me is that Lyndon Johnson, when he was president, knew that the Vietnam War was not winnable. And yet he did not want to be the first president to lose a war, so to speak. And so he did not know how to quit it. And so he just bombed more, kept it going more. And then that opened the door for Nixon to come in. And he bombed even more. But then they got the Paris peace talks going and this sort of thing. But that took a long time. But you can get your back up.
Yes or no?
Even though it cost other people's lives.
Yes or no? Is Israel out of Lebanon before we're out of Iran?
I don't think so because is it Hezbollah they're after? Is that the militant group they're after? One of those groups in Lebanon, and they've been after them to disarm before, and they buried a lot of weapons and gave a bunch of old junk in, and so they're not. I don't think they care about global politics or what people want, this sort of thing. They want what they want. And I think that fighting is going to go on. In Israel is just, you hate to say it, but they just seem like they're out of control right now.
They can't be stopped. There's several theories behind this. One, if Netanyahu steps down, they claim he's going to go to prison.
Yeah.
Another theory is they want more land. If you're Jewish and you go to Israel, they give you property, to protect you.
Yeah.
And I understand that's a fine. I understand. And the Steve Brown Arts Center and Podcast Network, we're back. We're in Israel right now.
Yeah. No, I think the leader of Israel does have that problem, is that they were ready to kick him out, charge him with some crimes before these wars started. And so his own self-interest is to keep things going, keep things in upheaval so that he doesn't lose his position. And, we have a guy in that same position, too, that can't be charged as long as he has the present job. And
right.
So I don't know. I think so much rides on these November elections as far as how much he's able to do his last 2 years, because if the Congress had any backbone, they need to defend their turf that's given to them by the Constitution. And if they don't, they're going to lose it. And that's what's happened. And so I don't understand. They're supposed to protect and defend the Constitution, but they're not doing that. They're giving in to the executive branch, and that's not good for anybody.
Yes or no? Does the Democratic Party control the Senate and House after the midterms in November?
I bet it probably would be hard to control both. Those incumbent senators are hard to beat. But I really think we've seen some ads in Iowa here where the Republican candidate is, wrapping themselves in Trump's flag and having their picture taken with him, and how they're going to defend him and work with him and this sort of thing. And I don't think that's going to do him any good. And so I think people are going to learn as his numbers got to keep going down, that that's not the way to go. But who knows? I don't know.
Yes,
politics is confusing. Go ahead.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Staying with the politics. Robert Sand, the Democratic guy running for the Democratic nomination for governor, one plan is to get rid of most property taxes and legalize marijuana. Yes or no? We should do that.
I guess I have thought the last few years that recreational marijuana is probably it's a tide that can't be stopped, and so I guess I'm thinking that that's probably going to, if he's elected and has the votes in the legislature, I would bet that would happen in Iowa.
People want out of that property tax.
Yeah, and if you don't smoke marijuana, that's a good deal for you. That the marijuana smokers will pay for it or help pay for it, and also the marijuana smokers are glad because they can smoke marijuana, and they probably don't own any property. So
you have the sin tax of cigarettes and alcohol and beer and and if marijuana goes into being, it's interesting. It'd be interesting. Colorado it pays for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Dale, it's like the lottery. The lottery makes millions and millions of dollars, and they said they would use it for schools. Mm-hmm. Problem is, they didn't say they would use it all for schools, Dale. They only use a certain portion of it. Yeah, and that's the problem. Yeah. If they say they're going to use all the tax monies of marijuana, they did property tax, then good. Yeah, they can't let them find a way out.
Yeah, and they usually do. It's interesting. We talked about Great Britain's new policy on tobacco, but they have very short election seasons. Sometimes when it's a matter of weeks before they have an election for a new government. We have this long, drawn-out term, and people want to advertise for long periods of time, and it takes lots and lots of money. And the cigarette people are still paying tons of money to people in Congress, buying their votes like they do. And so it's hard. It's hard to get anything like that passed because these people, they get so much money from the tobacco people, they get so much money from the oil people, and it's really hard to get meaningful change done, I think, just because of the way elections are financed and how much power and say these huge corporations have, even if they're selling something that's bad for the American people. So
You're right. Well, Dale, we got to get out of here. We've got just a few things left. If you're catching this as it comes out on Monday, right about this time, the artists are collaborating at Gedney's Bakery and Coffee Shop. Don't forget, next week, the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network is taking place at Heartland Tech and Events Center, where a crowd was down immensely tonight, 100% again tonight.
Did you hear what happened with that?
No.
Oh, our crowd, they thought they had to be at a meeting last week. Yes. Well, the meeting was canceled at the last minute, and they rescheduled it for tonight. So he missed, our crowd missed 2 Wednesdays in a row.
Dang it.
From bureaucratic follow-ups.
That's right. Bureaucratic follow-ups. Don't forget, the Steve Brown Arts Center showing Shelby Stone at the community room of the Jesup Public Library. Don't forget the 24-hour Mustang camera and the 24-hour Hawk camera at Joe's Pizzas in Independence and Manchester. Don't forget the Little Free Art House outside the administrative building in Independence. You can do some art for free. We are showing Katie Bell vans until the end of the month in M's Coffee Shop. As always, we're showing Nick Thomas art in Gedney's Coffee Shop.
I just had a terrific idea. We should put a camera on Joe's Pizza in Jesup, showing the basketball court there where parents could check on their kids, make sure they're really down there shooting baskets in the evening when they say they are. So
here you go. And I'm sure Joe talked about that doing that. We'll have to talk to Blake when we're off the air here. If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center, check us out on our website at stevebrownartscenter.org. Or if you have an idea for an event, go to the stevebrownartscenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@stevebrownartscenter.org or talk to Dale or call 319-290-0241. That's 319-290-0241 and leave a message. I'm Jim Gillespie with host Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus. Our thanks, as always, to Kelly C. Haas and Heartland Business and Event Center for allowing us to use their podcast equipment studio. We're getting into our summer activities. We had a wonderful jam session on Sunday afternoon. Oh my gosh, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your life. And remember, check us out on Facebook. Each day is about little victories.